Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Sandy, and we're two Tenderfoot tourists. Welcome to episode 123, Shrimp, Sand, Seawater, and Sun.
On this episode of Two Tenderfoot Tourists, we'll be telling you all about where have we been,
why no podcast since April,
and the future of Two Tenderfoot Tourist podcast. Two Tenderfoot Tourist is a family-friendly podcast. If you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe on iHeartRadio, Podbean, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Spotify, just to name a few.
To get in touch with us and chat about this podcast or even your travel experiences, simply email us at tenderfoottourist@gmail.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to check out our website at twotenderfoottourist.com. That's TWO, tenderfoottourist.com.
Why no podcast since April?
Well, the obvious. COVID has kind of put a big old monkey wrench into everything in everybody's lives.
It's been kind of the fly in the ointment, hasn't it?
If things weren't closed, then people were just frightened. So, it's really, it's hard to balance it out.
Right.
I mean, either you're talking about COVID constantly on the whole podcast, or you're talking about traveling, and some people don't want to hear about that when they can't go anywhere.
That's true. And you know what? That's just our mindset. Even though some people, about a month and a half into it, they were wondering, it's like, you should talk about you should do a travel podcast to take their minds off of it.
Right. And that's one of the reasons we decided to get back on here, is because we were told, people want to look forward to what's to come. They don't, and that'll help them do that.
Right.
By thinking about these places to go and getting some plans together in their heads.
Right. So. And on top of that, we're not getting paid to do this.
True. Yeah, we pour.
We pull.
We do this because we love it and because we like spending the time together.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
We like helping people come up with ways to travel, because when we were young, we didn't think we could do it.
Right.
And it's fun to be able to come up with ideas to help people be able to do that.
Yeah, so give a little inspiration.
So we also had another reason that we stepped back for a couple of months.
Right. Let's just go back just a little bit, just real briefly. In November of 2018, I started to develop a strange little twitch in my right hand and my thumb.
Right.
My shoulder started hurting, and I just kind of pass it off as like a hurt shoulder because of my job. I'm a truck driver, and I also lift cylinders is what I do. That's my job. I lift 200-pound cylinders.
And then you got checked out, and they said, "Oh, we don't think it's anything major. We think it's just an essential trimmer," which I have an essential trimmer, have had since 16.
And I had no idea it was contagious.
Yeah, we're like, woohoo, we match now, Twinkies.
Woohoo. But mine was only on my right hand.
Yeah.
And so I saw my primary doctor, and he says, "I'm going to give you a neurologist," and that's when we got the diagnosis of essential tremor.
Right.
No big deal. Well,
1 year later.
1 year later, and my cognitive, I started having some cognitive issues, and then to make things worse, it's like my hand started to shake, my right arm, then it developed into my right leg, and I started to get, I just started all these other issues I won't go into.
The symptoms grew.
They did. They kept on going.
And the two of us started kind of going, we should go get checked again. And they had told us, come back in a year, we want to check on you. So we went back in August.
Of 2019.
Correct, 2019. And what did they tell you?
I got a call from a neurologist that says that I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Right.
So that was kind of a slap in the face. And then on top of that, he goes, "You're going to have to stop driving. You're going to be unsafe."
Driving his truck. Keeping in mind, he drove a truck for a living.
Yeah, I did it for 15 years almost.
A lot of people with Parkinson's disease still drive cars because you can drive short distances,
right?
For a short amount of times. But when you're driving over the road for hours and hours and hours, it's very taxing, and there's a lot of responsibility with that. So he told him, "You're going to have to. This is the beginning of the end of your career."
That's exactly what he said.
But at that time, Steve was still doing well, so he continued to drive. He wasn't having issues with any of his reaction time, anything like that.
Mm-mm.
But as time went by,
little clues started coming in, And I told myself as soon as I started to feel that I was, becoming a danger or a hindrance or anything like that, I told myself that's when I luckily it coincided with my DOT physical.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it was almost exactly at the same time. We feel like that was just a blessing.
So I failed my DOT physical.
Yeah, I've never been so happy for you to fail a test.
I'm still struggling with it. And with that being said, all that being said, diagnosis with Parkinson's disease, we've had a really rough 2019. We lost our grandchildren in 2019.
Right.
The COVID happened. The list goes on.
I had shoulder surgery in 2019.
Shoulder surgery, yeah.
We just had a hard time, and
it's been a rough year.
When we found that he was going to be without work, we decided, okay, time to step back from the podcast for a couple of months too, and just reevaluate some things.
Oh gosh, yeah. How we see in these shows anymore. It's like it was like a sign from the universe. You almost wonder some days. I was like, what's telling me out there? What is it telling me? Because of the fact that it's like I was scheduled for a movement disorder specialist up there in St. Louis for
the end of May.
May 27th. I was going to go ahead and use a vacation.
Keeping in mind, they had scheduled that 9 months earlier.
Yeah, in
that's the soonest we could get in.
Right. And so what ended up happening is they gave me a call the week before I was supposed to be there, and they said, we're going to have to reschedule. Okay, well, when are we going to schedule it? Figuring it'd like be a month later or something like that. Nope, it was 2021.
February 2021.
February.
So basically another 9 months. So you're looking at a year and a half after diagnosis.
Yeah.
So we were very frustrated.
But so anyway, not to bring everybody down.
But now you see all the garbage we're dealing with.
That's a lot of garbage. And so anyway, we're going to try to bring some positive stuff to this episode. We're just trying to give you an idea of what is the reason for no podcast in the last 3 months. Oh gosh, it's since April, May, June.
Yeah,
3 months.
3 months. And the thing is, of course, COVID was going on when your birthday came.
Yeah.
And normally, and we've talked about this on our podcast before, normally, what do you do for your birthday?
Oh, I make gumbo.
He doesn't just make gumbo. He makes a huge pot of gumbo.
I invite people.
And serves it to like 30 of our closest friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, this was a big deal for him. It's what he loves to do every year. And if we can do it, we like to get Gulf shrimp to do it because it's, of course, the best.
Joe Patty's.
Yes, we love to go to Joe Patty's in Pensacola.
Yeah, there's a definite place to go to for your...
Pensacola, Florida.
So here we are. We have the week already. Basically, I have a week's vacation, right?
Yeah. And we were stressed to our limits, I think, at this point.
COVID was starting to taper down. Yes.
I forgot to say this, too.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia's engaged.
Oh,
That's another stressor. Not a bad one. We're happy for her.
Yeah, she gets married in September.
Yes, but she's engaged, and we're thinking, okay, we don't have a lot of time left with her as a single person.
No.
And we also enjoy getting to know her fiance, Solace.
Mm-hmm.
So
so I wake up on a Saturday morning, and I'm talking to Olivia. We're having breakfast together. You're still in the other room.
I'm doing my morning rituals.
Your morning rituals, and I say, "Boy, if I could talk your mom into going to Pensacola and getting some fresh shrimp." And then it developed into, why don't you come with us? And why don't you bring your fiance, Solace, with us? We'll all just go down to golf,
Well, first of all, let's back up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think I'd say yes?
I was shocked.
And I mean, it was a lot of fun. Those kids, they had their premarital counseling.
That
literally,
morning.
No, it was afternoon. It was literally right before we left here.
Right.
That's why we left at 3. Luckily, we needed to wait anyway because we had so many things to do.
Yeah. So anyway, we got all of our stuff together at last minute. It was a lot of fun actually, just doing this last minute deal together. Right. And it's a 12-hour drive down to the Gulf Shore. I got us a room at the Best Western on the beach.
I just want to say...
And it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, but I want to back up a second. One of the reasons we were able to get ready so fast is because I always keep a copy of my travel list. And we
Yeah.
just go in and omit everything we don't need for that specific place we're going, and then we have our travel list to check off everything we need, and it
Right.
works. People keep a list all the time.
That's helpful.
But yes, you got us a room on Memorial Day weekend on the beach.
Okay, now just to let everybody hear, it's not an easy task to find an affordable room. I used bookit.com is
Right.
what I used, and they were really good about getting me that low price, unbelievably low. Most of the rooms that I was looking at down there, they were looking for Memorial Day anywhere between like $225 all the way up to like $800 a night.
Right. And we did not spend points this time. As you know, if you've listened to us very much, we don't usually travel unless we have points to stay in hotels.
Well, you know what? I look at it this way. We put it on our choice hotels card, and the one reason why I put it on there is because of the fact you get double points because I'm a Diamond member. You get kickback, basically.
Right. So we didn't use points, but we got points
Yeah,
for it.
well, I'm using that. Okay, for the future, I'm going to be using these points.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so we go down to this beach, and it was a newly remodeled hotel, and we got an efficiency room where it had a balcony.
Wait up.
What's that?
What was the first general impression?
Oh, the outside it's kind of intimidating, really.
It
Especially
was,
when you got the party crowd walking
keeping
around.
in mind, it's an older building
Yeah.
that had been renovated inside. So walking up to it, you're going, oh, I hope this is okay.
Yeah.
Not that it was trashy. It really
No.
wasn't. It was just, first of all, a lot of people were there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, you could already tell a party crowd.
Yeah. Memorial Day was in full swing.
Yeah. The light bulb goes on. Oh, yeah, we just went on a Memorial Day.
What were we thinking? Not a lot of plan or thought, but I mean, the very little bit of planning that I had done prior to us leaving was: are we going to get a place? Is it the right place? And is it the right price?
Right. And my rule of all.
Is it safe and clean?
Yep.
And I did bare bones, believe it or not. I did bare bones research on this hotel.
And it was good. I
It
liked
actually
it.
turned out to be pretty good. Now, other than the fact that you were woken up by a party going on in the next room at one point in the evening.
That was our last night there.
That was.
And, I mean, honestly,
I slept straight through it. I never heard a thing.
I think it's just because it was me as much as anything, because I hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of funny.
I'm going to brag on you.
What?
You drove all the way down there.
Okay.
All over.
We have to talk about this because usually we go on trips and Steve and I say we'll split the driving, and he knows.
I like control.
He likes to have the control of driving all the way, and I don't like driving anywhere that it's busy. So if it's long stretches, sure, give it to me. I'm fine with that. But as soon as we get into busy traffic, I am not happy with that.
No.
So I'm more than happy to let him drive all but like 2.5 hours of our 10 to 20 hour drives.
Yeah.
Well, this time I drove.
Yes, you did. I'm so proud of you.
But I drove the whole thing, and I was really proud of myself.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of fun.
It was fun. And I didn't have the trouble of my ankles swelling. That
I won't
I've had
lie.
at
There
different
was a lot of guilt. I'm going like, I feel bad for you. Because, I mean, okay. The reason why I can say I feel bad, because I have this preconceived idea that you're not enjoying yourself at all. But I never got the impression that you weren't enjoying yourself.
I didn't feel drowsy because I was busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have the achy legs or the swollen ankles. So I don't know if it was just luck of the draw or not, but I didn't mind it. It was kind of fun.
I really appreciated you doing that. I mean, I want to say that you sacrificed that part of the vacation for me, but it's not what I'm getting from you now.
I feel like I grew.
You grew, I
And the
agree.
only time it was really hard was when we would get in the really busy circumstances and I knew a turn was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And between you and Olivia, because Olivia did it too, leaned up and watched the GPS.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, nope, it's not this one. It's the next one.
Right,
You know,
next exit.
and I was fine.
Next turn.
Just need that backup once in a while of people.
Well, you know what? even before I had GPS, driving was never one of those things. It's so much easier now that you have GPS. And it spoiled me to the point where if I don't have a GPS, I'll be as bad as directions as you were in the past.
Oh my goodness.
When it comes to GPS, I mean, I can figure out like the tenth of a mile, or at least I used to, tenth of a mile just before my turn.
Yeah, that was one of the funny things, which you'd say, okay, you still got a mile and a half down the road before your turn. I'm like,
what is that?
I don't know what that looks like. I just drive.
It just ticks it down on the numbers there. You just,
I don't look at the numbers. I look at the road.
Oh, that's true. Maybe I should stop doing that. But anyway, so we got down there, and one of the things that we discussed is like, gee, I hope there are things open. Even Sean even wrote to us, just like, are you sure you want to go down? I doubt if there'd be anything open. Well, prior to us leaving, I actually called or looked on the internet, and that day, they opened it for the first time.
Right.
The beaches.
And we found out when we got down there that they literally had opened up almost everything for Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
So I think actually a lot of the people that were there might have been fairly local.
Oh, yeah.
Because people just wanting to get out. They were so tired of being pent up.
Oh, I know it. And I'm telling you right now, what I was told while we were down there, which would be like a monumental duh, but they really needed to open up for Memorial Day just because, or Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Just because that is a moneymaker.
Yeah, and they were dying. I mean, it's just like all other businesses.
They've been closed for months.
Yeah.
So we went down there and it was packed.
Yeah, I couldn't believe there were so many people on the beach. We've never been to a beach that full before.
No, but I tell you what, the water was nice.
Well, and as soon as we got past the dry part of the beach, the wet part, people weren't right up against you.
You know what? Okay, when I say packed, I'm talking about like not the beaches. It's a lot more busier than we are accustomed to, because usually we go down in pre spring break.
Yeah, we never go during the major holidays.
No, we never go during the major holidays. So there was a lot more people on the beach than we were accustomed to. Now the souvenir stores was shoulder to shoulder.
Oh yeah, that was crowded.
The streets with cars going back and forth, it was cray-cray. But the beach, once you got down in there, it's like the people were actually keeping that social distancing. The safest place in that entire town was the beach, if you ask me.
People were really given some space. You couldn't tell by some of the pictures we took because, I mean, the angles and everything, but I mean, people really were pretty respectful.
Yeah, they were, actually. Surprisingly.
It was hard to be respectful when you had to ride elevators.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, they had the little note on there that says, family only enter, no more than X amount of people, and that type is for social distancing. Everybody ignored it, especially the people who were drunk.
Oh, yeah, we ran into 3 guys.
They were cracking me up.
Let's just set the stage.
Okay, set the stage.
We step into the elevator with these 3 young men, and all I could think is,
we were going down to the beach.
Right. All I could think is, I smell the faint smell of a skunk. Oh wait, that's not what it is.
Yeah, the faint smell of skunk and burning leaves.
Yes.
Yeah, and so they were very happy.
They were so friendly,
so relaxed, and they were like, "Man, is this my floor? No, not your floor yet." But one of them jumps off and runs down that. Oh, that's not our floor.
So
man.
We had to wait, and he had to get back on the elevator.
And we asked him, "It's like, you having a good time?" He goes, "Man, I feel blessed."
I said, "We got your back.
You got your back. You guys are so cool." They were cracking me up.
Oh, and I'm pretty sure they were our neighbors that were partying later.
Oh, it wouldn't shock me. But he was so mellow.
I'm surprised they could find their room.
Yeah, but the thing is also the things that were closed. Now,
I was so sad.
Our favorite pier was closed. The Gulf Shore State Park Pier was closed.
Yeah, I love that pier.
Renovations.
It's one of my favorite things to do every time we go to the Gulf, so I was a little disappointed, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's only like $4 or $5 to park or something like that, and then it gives you access to the pier or something to that effect.
Remember.
Or is it $4 or $5 to get on the pier?
I think you get charged per person to get on the pier.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, okay, to get on the pier.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I probably would have remembered better if
we got to do it.
But we pulled up in there, and the guy goes, "Sorry, it's closed for renovation."
The funny thing about that was that it had been open until the week before Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
what
are
irony.
you kidding me?
So I took the time before we started this podcast. I'm going like, when is it open, and what is it being renovated for? Apparently, they had like some sort of new renovation that they decided they were going to do. It was like you said, it's been open and closed on the same day for Memorial Day weekend of all times, which really kind of okay. So anyway, it's supposed to open here sometime in mid-July,
right?
And
they said that they were replacing some wooden decking and handrails, creating a new accessible observation deck, and installing new turtle-friendly lighting, whatever that means.
Well, you know what? I go like, what in the world would be a turtle-friendly? Apparently, it emits a light that is not harmful to turtles or sea life in some way. I don't know exactly how that works. So anyway, they're just doing some renovation. It should be open for us when we go back down someday.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there. But so as far as food goes, now Solace has never been to the Gulf.
Right.
He's been on the West Coast, and the 60 grit sandpaper they call a beach out there. You got the nice fine sand on the Gulf here.
Right. And there's something else about
Solace. It's like 2,000 grit.
He had in common with you a major dislike for water.
Even a dislike and a fear of water.
Yeah.
And me and him went out there, and we enjoyed ourselves.
He just went right out in there. I was so proud of both of you.
I wiped out, and it wore me out. I wish my health was better, because I would spend hours out there now.
Yeah, you weren't out there a real long time, but you were out there a few minutes, and boy, you came back and you were just shaking.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't I?
You were vibrating, man. But you had fun, and I'm glad you got to do it, and I'm glad Solace did it. It was really exciting.
Yeah, I'm proud of him. I mean, it's not easy getting over your fear, or dislike of something.
And he didn't just do it; he had fun. So that's awesome.
Yeah, but we decided, trying to find a place to eat was not too difficult, actually. There was quite a few places open.
The thing is, when I go to the Gulf, I want my shrimp. I want my seafood. Mm-hmm. We wanted to go to Joe Patty's restaurant, but they weren't open that day.
No, that was sad. They're also closed for remodeling, actually.
Oh, yeah, they were, weren't they? Mm-hmm. That's what it was. Well, we didn't get to eat there. We saw that there was a Shaggy's. Well, Shaggy's is one of the restaurants we ate at in Biloxi.
And it was pretty good.
And all of Biloxi's food was good.
Oh, yeah.
And Shaggy's was actually low end of the best food we'd ever had on our trips. So we're going, let's try Shaggy's.
Which I was going to say, I mean, as good as the food that was there, and that was considered the low end, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was exceptional. And what happens? We took a 10-minute walk to get there. And of course, it's the one restaurant that's still closed.
Yeah, I know.
And it's hot. I mean, 10 minutes.
We drove all the way to Pensacola just to eat at Shaggy's.
Yes, just to eat at Shaggy's. And of course, we wanted to look around Pensacola and show the kids, because Pensacola is beautiful. The beaches there are
their pier
gorgeous.
Wasn't open either, only to people who were fishing.
Right. But yeah, we walked down to Shaggy's for nothing. And
now, with that being said, they got a chance to go on the beach. Olivia and Solace, they had kind of a romantic time.
They did. It was very sweet.
And it was very sweet. I'm glad we could give that to them. But also on top of that, we also found a new place to eat while we were down there. 2 new places, actually. A place to hang out, which was a casino bar.
Right, and we wish we would have just stayed there and eaten. If we would have known Shaggy's was closed, we would have. Mm-hmm. The servers were really nice to us and everything.
Super
and
nice.
We loved
it was
the ambiance.
Outside with the umbrellas and stuff that blow over and
the big
kill
umbrella.
people.
There was a huge umbrella that blew over, and Steve helped the server go close it and get it set back up.
Because she was trying to lift it up with it open, and she's fighting against the wind, and she was just a tiny little thing, and I'm going like, have you thought about closing it? Oh, that's a great idea.
Age comes wisdom.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I'm with you. I wish we would have stayed at that place, and we got a cup a souvenir cup from that place.
We did.
Nice souvenir cup they really had.
And their drinks were good. We had a Bushwhacker there, and Olivia and Solace got to taste it. We had told them how good Bushwhackers were. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I would drink one of those every day if they weren't so bad for me.
I couldn't drink one every
There's
day.
ice cream in it. I love ice cream.
I know, right?
But then we did end up eating at a different place, and you guys were all very happy with your food.
I was very happy. It was at the Frisky Dolphin Sunset Oyster Bar and Grill. It's right next door to Shaggy's. Thank you.
Right.
And we said, okay, fine. Now, this is right here. If anybody's ever listened to our podcast long enough, they know how much I love gumbo. And I can be very critical of other people's gumbo.
Yes, you can.
They had amazing gumbo. And I ordered it. I'm going like, you know what? It's one of the lower priced things on the menu. I'm trying to watch our money, that sort of thing. So, and I love gumbo. I'm willing to give it a try. I ate like 4 or 5 bites of it, and I called the waitress over, and I go, wow, this stuff is really good. And she goes, oh, I'm glad to hear it. It won like 5 years in a row, a gumbo contest. And I'm like, oh, and they had chicken in it.
Right, which was something we hadn't had before.
I never
And
thought
now
of
you're
it.
considering adding chicken to yours to
I'm
try it
thinking
out.
about it. Like replacing my crab.
No.
No.
I want the crab.
All right, just like you.
But anywho, Brad.
I'm the crab, just so everybody understands where I'm going with this. But Pensacola Beach, the Pier, Casino Beach Bar, nice people, nice servers, nice atmosphere. It's very relaxed. If you get there early in the morning, usually people can just walk right in and just sit down and enjoy the beach and everything. It's open, but as they go open, like I think it's at 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning. At least this is the way it was when we were there. Nothing against the Frisky's Dolphin Sunset Oyster Bar and Grill, but we should have just stayed where we were at. Just went ahead and ordered an appetizer and shared it, and ordered some ice waters or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we would have been happier other than you and your gumbo. You really enjoyed your gumbo. The kids said they liked their food a lot at the other restaurant. I didn't care for mine.
You had the po' boy, right?
I did, and I wasn't impressed.
Well, you know what the problem we've run into, and I don't know if anybody else out there agrees with this or not, but the problem with a po' boy at a restaurant half the time is they only put like 4 shrimp on there, and then you have this big fat bun.
Yeah.
It's just way too much bread.
Well, it's one of the reasons we liked Biloxi so much is because they overloaded my po' boy.
That's what I loved about it.
Everything we had, it was just a load of seafood.
It's just like you have, like the normal size bun comes with a po' boy.
Right.
But then they overload it. So it's almost as if you're having like a shrimp sandwich with shrimp on the side.
Yeah, the whole time I was eating it in Biloxi, it was falling out.
Yeah.
There was so much. And that's the thing. I mean, when you pay those kind of prices, you really want to have a feeling that you got what you paid for.
Yeah.
But that being said. Gumbo. You loved it.
Loved it. And I got the shrimp from the Joe Patty's seafood market. I loved it. We have ourselves what did we have when we were there? At the little vendor that's on the outside. What is it called? Beignets. I kept on saying baguettes.
Yes. I almost said baguettes because you always say that. But yeah, there are fresh beignets being made out front, and so, you can get them plain or you can get them with filling, and we got some with filling in them, and they were so good.
They always have like this special going on where you buy 3 beignets for $5. Is that right?
I think it's the reverse. I think
it's 5.
I don't remember.
I want to say it's because we liked it because everybody.
We got a coupon this time, so we got
4
twice as much.
beignets for $5. I remember because everybody was able to get their own. Wasn't that right?
No,
I don't remember what it is.
It may be 3. I think you're right with the 3.
Is it 3?
But the point is, we got a coupon for a batch of them for free.
Oh, that's right.
So we got to spend $5, or what? Is it 5 or 8? I don't remember. Anyway, we got to spend
just ignore us. We have no idea what we're talking about now.
We're talking in circles so much right now.
Old age.
We've really missed you guys. But they were delicious. They're always nice and fresh and hot. And
we're so monumentally broken.
Just be forewarned, it was really windy that day.
Oh, so they put that powdered sugar
And we just like had powdered sugar all over us. And it was so windy. We were like, let's get in the car. So we get in the car and eat, and it's all over us.
I thought to myself, we get pulled over there and they're thinking, it's like, so what have you been doing? I'm just going to go like this with my nose, rubbing it like nothing,
just
officer.
Tell them we got it from the guys in the elevator.
Nothing, officer. With my shakes and my trimmers on my right hand, that's going to look really good, right? It's like, another thing, officer. But
did you even hear what I said?
No.
I said, just tell them we got it from the guys in the elevator.
Got it from the guys in the elevator. That's awesome. Oh, okay. So, wow, the future of Two Tenderfoot Tourists. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
I don't know. I think just that our trip went really well. I know we were all over the place, but it kind of was just a crazy montage of things that we did.
Well, anytime that we ever go down to Gulf Shores or Orange Beach, we went and sat at the Gulf for a little while. Mm-hmm. That's a wonderful. It's right there and there at the Perdido Key Pass.
Yes,
it's that little water inlet that separates Orange Beach from Perdido Key.
Yeah, and I think Solace and Olivia both like that place. I know Olivia's always liked it.
I love that place so much. It's so relaxing. My problem is I'm getting to a point. It's like I don't want sand in my shoes right now.
I want to walk barefooted in the sand.
Yeah, that means I have to take my shoes off.
We're both too fat to do that.
Oh gosh, it's so difficult.
Anyway,
truck driving.
No, the trip was good, and yeah, I think the next thing we talk about is the future of the Two Tenderfoot Tourists podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what the future of the Two Tenderfoot Tourists podcast has. Be honest with you, I don't see that it's going to be here for much longer.
We should have talked before all this.
Yeah, I don't mean to be dark. The reason why I say that is because everything is just kind of... Okay, there's several factors, and I think we've discussed this before, off air. One, we really don't have the subscribership to really keep an interaction that we have with people out there that we were hoping for originally, even though we were enjoying this ourselves.
Right, and even though we were just doing it for fun. It's an added expense. We can't afford to keep it going all the time because I have to pay for a website. I have to pay for hosting the podcast. I have to do all these things. If we do continue doing this... It would be limited hosting.
It would be very limited. It'd be as simple and as crazy as like just posting our podcast on Facebook and YouTube, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because those are free platforms. The other thing is my health. I am the producer, co-host, and TI or IT guy.
We always just say that I'm the talent.
You're the voice talent. You are, and the thing is I am primarily a right-handed person, and so it really requires you to be able to think clearly as you are making edit cuts and choices and your edits and stuff like that. Making the timing, because I mean, just this episode alone is going to probably take me 3 days in order to edit because of the fact that it's so difficult with my trimmers.
Well, and we were all over the place, so you'll probably want to lose your mind.
I'll probably want to lose my mind. And on top of that, I mean, they've changed my medication, so my cognitive is getting better, though. But usually it doesn't actually, eventually it deteriorates over time. Anyway, so with that being said, I'm willing to sell the podcast for the highest bidder, to the highest bidder.
What it comes down to is I'm sure we will do a few more. It's
sure.
Not like we're just dropping out, but there may be large gaps.
Yeah.
And eventually we may come on here and we may just give our closing podcast.
Yeah.
We're just going to see where it takes us.
Yeah, because we don't really know what the future holds for us. I mean, I enjoy doing this
very much.
It has been a joy talking about little vacations and different weird things that are out there, bizarre.
But the
roadside
fact is,
attractions.
A travel podcast, you need to travel.
Yeah.
And we don't know where we stand on that. So we will get back to everybody on that as things go.
Now, I would like to encourage My friends out there who come across my podcast that are suffering from Parkinson's disease to subscribe and tell me about your vacations, what they're like. I would be very interested to see how you guys deal with going on a vacation.
I absolutely would like that. That would be really neat. And, it doesn't mean that we can't still interview some people that go on trips.
True.
Look at Justin and Wendy. They had to cancel their big cruise they were planning. And it was a big cruise.
Yeah.
They were really looking forward to it. And, of course, COVID. And now instead they're going to a all-inclusive. And is that this
in Cancun?
Is that this next week or
No, it's in August.
Oh, it's in August. But anyway, they're going to an all-inclusive in Cancun, and they're really excited about it. And these are people that were die-hard cruise-only people.
Now they're going like, this may be the way to go.
So they're excited to go try that. So we'll definitely try, if we continue this, we'll definitely try to get them in here and interview them, because that'd be really exciting.
Yeah, we can bring that to you. Again, I know you hear this every single time at the end of every podcast, but we really do enjoy talking about travel with you. If you have any suggestions for a future episode, something that we haven't done before, or maybe you have a question about a past episode or this episode, feel free to, it's still an email. I get my emails. It's free.
Right. And we're on Facebook.
Yeah, tenderfoottourist@gmail.com, Facebook, Instagram. So, make a long story short, thank you so much for listening to our podcast.
Episode 123, Shrimp, Sand, Seawater, and Sun.
Two Tenderfoot Tourists is a family-friendly podcast. If you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe on iHeartRadio, Podbean, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Spotify, just to name a few.
To get in touch with us and chat about this podcast or even your travel experiences, simply email us at tenderfoottourist@gmail.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to check out our website at twotenderfoottourist.com. That's TWO tenderfoottourist.com.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Sandy.
Until next time.
Stay tender.